You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the resources, and anybody that's been in the space enough knows this. Money is just, it provides choices. I just want him to hear me, and I want him to just listen, hear it out, acknowledge it, maybe amplify it a little bit, but I don't need your voice. I just need your ears, and hear me out, and then let me go through it, and then I'll end up solving my own problem.
I'm an immigrant. I came from the Philippines. I didn't have anything handed to me, but I'm in America, and I have opportunity. And so, like, for me, what I tell my kids is, if people are telling you that you're going to have it harder because of the color of your skin, like, don't listen to that.
4 key things that I had to learn. Number 1, the importance of the masculine and feminine in the relationship, in that balance. Number 2, the difference between how men and women process emotion. Number 3, female psychology. And number 4 were attachment styles.
I'd probably work on the foundation. That's actually what I'm working towards now. We're accruing a lot of money, trying to be smart with it. Hey, well, these kids need rides to school. These kids need to learn how to get jobs.
So how do you pronounce your first name?
Joe Pabustan.
Joe Pabustan?
Pabustan.
Joe Pabustan. Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
Perfect. Yeah, so I actually started a podcast a few years ago because I had my kids. They were watching this guy named Mr. Beast.
Oh, yeah. Familiar.
But this was like before, this was like as he was really blowing up, right? But I didn't know who he was. So I actually started going back, and it was his first videos when he had like 1,200 subscribers. And I'm like, dude, like, how did this guy get started? And like, what was the switch? Because he was just playing video games, right? And filming himself playing video games. And then that wasn't working out too well. So he decided, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and now go and give a bunch of free stuff away and film it. So he started going to Best Buy and all these stores, putting like circles on the ground and having people come and like, whatever you can stack in this in the next 5 minutes you get. And it went viral, right? And people are crying all over the place. Long story short with that, it's the whole concept of abundance to give, right? Give back, help others, leave a legacy, and the universe pays you tenfold, right? And so I was like, there's a lot of podcasts out there that interview entrepreneurs like yourself. And what's your tactics? How'd you become successful? How'd you get there? Like all the tactical stuff. And that's great. But what I said is I want to do a podcast where we can talk about that, but I want to go a few layers deep, and I want to understand how maybe giving, helping others has created abundance for you in your life, hence abundance to give. And that's the whole purpose of the podcast.
Yeah, dude, that's really cool. Yeah. First of all, what a cool idea. And I've literally just been thinking about this. It's funny that this is the topic. And I've been thinking about, Chris and I have been talking about, like, we're not happier that we've 5x our income, like whatever the number is,
right?
That much happier. We've been so grounded in our family and like how happy we are with just our primary focus. And so we weren't trying to be, we weren't trying to make a bunch of money to be necessarily happy, or at least I didn't think I was. But so I was talking to Crystal about, hey, how do we give this away? Or like, what's the best way to spend this money and help others and whatever? So it's kind of interesting that this is like the kind of main topic of your
yeah, because what you soon find out, and this comes from, whether it's your family or I think you said your dad passed away some years ago. My dad passed away earlier this year. But I've never met anybody on their deathbed and they say, bro, can you show me my Ferrari one more time? Right? Hey, can you log into my B of A bank account and show me how big it is? Yeah. Never. And so what they will say is, can you show me those pictures from our trip to Hawaii that time we went with the family? Or can you show me, this or that? Or can you bring in the kids so I can talk to them one more time? So that goes to show you that, yeah, you can have all the money in the world, you can have all the resources, and anybody that's been in the space enough knows this. Money is just, it provides choices. That's all it does. If you really think about it, it provides choices. So what do you say about that in terms of, okay, I have $1 million now. I have all these choices. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, I think as far as what I'm trying to spend my time with, I actually have a nonprofit. I'm not sure if you knew about that.
I did not know that. That's what we're going to get into.
Oh, really?
Well, I want to talk about it.
Yeah. So I have a nonprofit now where we give out toys every year to this community. It's actually now it's multiple communities, but basically lower economic status and
in Phoenix,
and in Maryville specifically. Yeah, there's one in South Phoenix that we go to. But anyway, we go to these schools where like 98% of the kids live below the poverty line. And so that's where we go and we give and donate toys to. But there's also we have these closets where there's just some things that they don't have, you know,
Yeah.
toiletries, you know, underwear, socks, shoes, backpacks. So we fund um the we call them Caleb's closets.
Okay.
And so we have them at a couple schools, and so that's how.
And that's year round.
Yeah, it's year round. Yep.
And are the toys year round, or are they during Christmas and
That's just during.
holidays?
So that's during. Reason we started is because my son passed away,
Yeah.
and we. So his birthday is December 9th.
Mm.
So around that time, instead of planning a birthday party, we go out and we give gifts to.
Memory lives on. Yeah, that's cool. It's like a legacy. It's cool. Yeah, I had a friend that did that. His little boy had passed prematurely, Ollie. And yeah, every year the same thing. And they do an event, and all the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, like go to the Rady's Children's Foundation in San Diego. So it's very interesting. Yeah, it's amazing how the law of the universe pays itself forward, and how people can have all the money and feel completely empty. And
Oh,
so,
I know a lot of
yeah,
people that are very,
yeah.
very empty, and it's like,
What brings fulfillment for you, number one, and what do you think brings fulfillment for other people that may be feeling empty and they have all this wealth?
yeah, I actually have a couple buddies. They seem lost, and they're like super wealthy. So I'm like,
Hmm.
hey, well, look, you figure they'd be fine, but for as far as fulfillment goes, I think it's. Have you ever heard of like Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Like, I think
Sure.
that's really what it comes down to. And once you have this kind of safety, like basic needs met, you kind of have to have this feeling of belonging. I think a lot of people live home alone or like
Hmm.
and I think so a lot of times those people just want to belong to something.
Community, connection. It's crazy how even though you could be a quote unquote introvert, introverts still need people and connection. They just don't get energized by it, right? Meaning they can go out, they want to be around people, they want to connect, but then they also need their own internal time to recharge, because people don't charge them per se. Like Kate, right? Kate,
Oh
people
yeah,
people charge her. If she doesn't have people, she's like depressed.
yeah,
Whereas an introvert goes out to that environment, enjoys it, but then needs to recharge silently.
yeah.
And that's the difference. Yeah, you do see it a lot, and I'm interested. I'm always fascinated by it. And I ended up we talked about Patrick Bet-David,
Yeah.
and started going to his conferences about 3 years ago. And the first time I went down there, the first day in that conference, he puts up what's called the 7 mountains that inspire people and move nations. It's like a thing he puts on the board. And see if I can riddle these off correctly without messing them up. So business, family is also philanthropy. So family's philanthropy as well. Religion, government, sports and culture, education. How many is that? 5? Somewhere in there. I'm missing a few here. Education, media is another one, and maybe one other one in there. But those are the top 7 that inspire people and move nations. And the reason he brought that up is he says, listen, once you start making some money where you don't technically need to get out of bed every day. You see this with sports stars, you see this with sports teams, you see this with entertainers, people that go from zero to hero in life, and they, maybe didn't have money and all of a sudden they do have money and all the success and the fame that everything comes with it. The reason that it's sometimes difficult for them to maintain that, number one, but then not lose their shit, number two, is because they're not driven by these other forces. They're driven simply by the money side. And then they have the money and they lose the motivation because the money was the motivator. And he says, I can speak personally to it. When I was growing my insurance company, PHP, and then the day happened where we sold it, and I watched a $250 million wire come across into my bank account. He said, I officially didn't need to go to work anymore. But he says, I'm more driven today than I have ever been in my entire life because it has nothing to do with that money. He says, and I'm driven by these mountains. And for him, this was his mountains. Business was the driver to get the revenue, because now you have the revenue then to be able to make choices, right? You have the money to make choices with. But for him, he's really driven by media. You can see it through valuetainment. He's driven by politics, but he can't be a politician because he's not born here. So he has to inflict it another way. He's driven by family and philanthropy, which is what he gives back to. So now, because of all these external forces that are really the main drivers, he says, I wake up with a fire in my belly, more excited today than I was when I was running my insurance company.
Make the money, yeah.
Right. Because now I wake up going, how can we do this and make these things with media and then inspire more people and then educate more people and get back to more people and do all these things? And now is really fire in the belly, way beyond the money of PHP and insurance. And he says that is where people need to go. So he says, everybody in here, this audience, you're going to do an identity audit tonight. And I said, I hope you'll do this and you won't go out to the bars and get all messed up. Right? You're here at a conference, sure. Maybe go network, have a cocktail, but then go back to your room and spend 2 hours doing this identity audit. And you're going to go through, it's in your workbook. And I did exactly that. And I can't tell you, dude, I mean, I was literally bawling in my room going through these steps of identity. Number one, realizing that I'm an underperformer. Like I was way underperforming what I felt, but I guess that's natural when you're an achiever. You always think you're underperforming. So I'm sitting there going, wow, I am underachieving my true potential. So have you ever been through one of those before?
Never. And I want you to give me the audit. I want to do this. I do feel like I'm underperforming. That's funny. So I'm actually very new to, we were talking about earlier, very new to this entrepreneurial stuff. I would always have this spirit with me on a side hustle or whatever, but I didn't really go and
so you were a W-2 working for somebody else for how many years?
In fact, I still am.
Okay.
And I'm about to make this, I don't know, we'll see. I may be making this transition.
Yeah.
It's tough because you have the golden handcuffs and you know, I do pretty good with the current company I work for. But I do see that like, I thought I could do both, but I'm starting to figure out that maybe I can't because like I'm spending a lot of time on something that I'm just not that
inspired by
about.
Yeah. At the work, at the job.
At the job, yeah. And so, but it's like, gosh, I have family. I'm a support other family members outside of just my kids. And so I'm like,
yeah, you're the provider and the protector.
That's what I think a lot of people like. Dads are kind of important, kind of a big deal. And you're like, and so I think,
listen, man,
people don't know what we go through. I don't think.
No. And here's the challenge for men, for us. You know, on one side of it, we have our wives and spouses and people saying, well, I want you to connect emotionally and I want you to show me your vulnerabilities and I want you to share all these things with me. And I understand you may say that. Okay. But if you knew, if I put the burden of rocks that are on me every day and I took off the backpack that I have as a man to provide and protect for this family, and I took that emotion and I literally set it on your shoulders, your head would pop off your shoulders. Correct. Because women are not designed by nature, if they're going to step into their true feminine and be those nurturing mothers and be the people's helping support the home and the family and the children and that softer nurturing mentality, right? God did not design them to handle the burden that men handle by nature. And I learned all this going through therapy, bro. I mean, after my divorce.
This is deep. This is real deep stuff that men probably should be talking about. A lot of people can't, a lot of guys, they don't know how to regulate those emotions.
Emotional discipline.
And then you act.
Yeah, you react out because it builds up and lashes out. Builds up, lashes out. Yeah, no, I had to go through this for myself because, post-divorce, it's been almost 6 years now. Then I had 2 relationships post-divorce, like girlfriend relationships that were about 6-7 months each. But they all ended. They ended for different reasons, but a same theme. And I couldn't really fully understand it. And it was like a blessing at the same time because that triggered me to then go like seek out some help. So I finally actually went and saw a male therapist only. Like he specifically works with men. Only men, right? Doesn't do couples therapy stuff, doesn't do anything, specifically men. And it's not about like really kind of the snowflake therapy stuff. It's more about like, bro, like you're a man. Here's some things that are missing. This is why this stuff's happening. And he taught me 4 key things, which then triggered some other things. 4 key things that I had to learn. Number 1, the importance of the masculine and feminine in the relationship, in that balance.
I agree with that.
The critical nature of that balance. Number 2, the difference between how men and women process emotion. Number 3, female psychology. And number 4 were attachment styles, because I had no idea about attachment styles. Are you familiar with attachment styles? It's wild. So there's 4 attachment styles. There's secure, which everybody thinks they're secure. That's fine until you get punched in the face, and then you find out you're really not. It's like Mike Tyson. He's like, yeah, everybody has a big mouth until they get punched in the face, right? Same thing. Like most people think they're secure until they get into the fight or flight stress mode. And then your true attachment style comes out. So it's secure, then you have anxious attachment, you have avoidant, and then you have fearful avoidant. So those are 4 attachment styles, and there's details to each of them. But that is created by your childhood, basically how you were loved and treated and not loved and connected and all that other stuff. And then it boils through to your adult life. So I had to learn all this stuff, like my own attachment style. Not really. I mean, I understood the masculine and feminine, but I didn't really understand why it was so critical to the balance of the relationship, which is why those 2 relationships previously failed. And I learned that. I'm like, it was like literally a light bulb going off, going, holy cow, this makes complete sense now. And then the difference between how men and women process emotion and the man's role in that for leadership purposes. Yeah, because once I dialed all that in, that's what brought me a woman of Kate's quality, right?
It's awesome.
Yeah, once I understood all that, then I could actually attract a woman, which wasn't the hard part. Attracting the women wasn't the hard part. Keeping the attraction. And this is where a lot of men fail, and we don't understand what's going on. We just see the reactions that come out of women, but we don't know how to work with them. We just understand this. Oh, she's being more distant. Oh, there's less intimacy. Oh, she's pulling apart or pulling away. Oh, this is happening. And we're just seeing the reaction. We're not understanding how it was built up to that. And then we want to blame them when it's actually not them. They're just reacting to our behaviors, which led up to that moment. And it has a lot to do with that masculine, feminine imbalance is usually in our favor in the beginning of the relationship because they don't know what they don't know yet. And then that seesaw balance starts to get out of whack. It goes flatlined first, and then it goes against us later. And it's like a cut by 1,000 knives. And we just are not realizing that this is happening. And it has a lot to go back to, I know you know the saying, happy wife.
Oh, happy life. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I don't know that.
No, let me explain why that's bullshit.
Yeah, okay.
Because this was explained by my therapist. He says this is the biggest mistake men can make. Stop solving your wife's problems.
I agree.
Okay.
It's funny because I like just talking to Crystal, she'll tell me something. I'm like, oh, here's what you got. She's like, I'm not looking for that opinion. I'm like, okay, just now I ask, like, hey, how can I help you? Do you just need a lending ear, or do you need help with something?
Right.
Like,
so
no,
so here's a great line you can use when you get into that, where she's sharing emotions. I call it the cylinder of emotions. Babe, do you want my voice or my ears right now? Right? Do you want my voice or you want my ears right now? Because that's what my therapist gave me. He says, in the future when this happens, to say, babe, listen, do you want my voice or you want my ears right now? And she'll tell you, oh, I just want your ears. I just want your ears. Our job is not to solve their problems. They'll actually solve their own. Our job is to hold safe place, hold a cylinder so they can actually express this wide array of emotions, which I had to learn this because what I didn't understand is that for women to actually fall in love with you and stay in love with you, they have to have these inflections of emotion by design. They have to have it because if it's just easy breezy cover girl, mundane emotions, they lose interest for themselves. It's weird. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, I don't know how I'll ever understand that.
You don't need to understand it. You just need to sit in it. And your job is not to go through those emotions with them. Our job as men is to hold the safe place. It's kind of like, he gave me the analogy. It's like at a shoreline at a beach, right? You have the shoreline, then you have the waves coming, and the waves are at different heights, different seasons, spring, winter, fall, different wave heights, temperatures, whatever it is, right? Just boom, 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 right? The waves are coming, but the shoreline's always there, right? It may erode a little bit, rocks to sand, sand to rocks, right? But it's always there, and it doesn't move too much. That is what a man has to be. And yes, that is a large burden on us.
It's heavy.
But that is what is entailed to maintain that masculine, feminine energy. Because, I just these little things. And I was like, wow, like that makes so much sense now. But it was never explained to me this way. And so doing that therapy was critical. And then that lended on to, I don't know if you've ever done this, hypnotic reprogramming.
So I've done this process called,
and I know I'm talking a lot, but I was trying to share
no, I love
the stuff that's happened because it did a 180 on me, bro.
Have you heard of timeline therapy? Is this the same thing?
Well, tell me about that.
So basically, what I recently did this where you get put in a meditative state and you go back and they're like, hey, think of the first time you felt anger. And you kind of go back to like I was pretty young when the first time I remember that. But anyway, the point is like, it's like the timeline is like a bunch of pearls, and you go through something,
Mhm.
like anger, or in my case, I had a situation where I had a loss,
Hmm.
and you reframe when you're in this meditative state. You reframe what happened that day and what you learned from it, and versus feeling like a victim from it. In this case, we were like, what did I learn and how am I better?
Hmm.
And then basically you cut this situation and reframe it differently, and all these other pearls that are weighing you down will
Hmm.
fall off.
Yep.
And then you're kind of like, then you have a better state when something happens, then you react differently, and you don't, you have a better response to it
Yeah.
because you've just kind of done some work to go back in the timeline and
Yeah.
reframe.
It's essential that. Are you in hypnosis or meditation or?
I was in meditation.
Okay.
Someone led me to a meditation.
Okay. So it's probably somewhat very, very similar. I mean, I was in full hypnosis, but I don't know. That's probably similar to meditation. I mean, you're literally, hypnosis, when they describe it to you, it's that line right before sleep and awake, right? You're in this real thin part of the brain that can be in this state where like you're conscious, but you're not.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
how to describe it. I've never been hypnotized until this happened. I was like, whoa, I didn't think that could happen, but it did. And they can hypnotically reprogram is what they call it. Hypnotic reprogramming using a clinical hypnotist that knows this process and how to do it. Yeah, I did that for over a year and a half, and then I'll go every quarter now and do it again. It's wild, dude. I mean,
So what are they doing when you're in hypnosis? What are they doing?
yeah, so it starts with, your first meeting, right, is kind of a prep meeting to understand some things. And then from there, they'll take that and go back because most of the stuff is all programmed into us subconsciously, right? They got to get it out of the conscious brain into the subconscious brain. And that happens usually in childhood. A lot of things that got planted in there that you have no idea about. A couple of the big ones for me were trying to understand why I have such a hard time asking people for help.
Mm.
Right. And I just try and do everything myself.
Yeah.
Like, why? Because that's also holding me back too. Because usually people don't scale and grow in life on their own. Somewhere along the way, you need help, team of people around you. Right. And so trying not to be the solo, actor here and it's okay to ask for help and why. And then also I had a hard time receiving gifts. I didn't understand like why, or receiving not just so much gifts, receiving service, receiving gifts. I just felt I don't know if it was unworthy or like uncomfortable about receiving from people, right? I could give,
Yeah.
but then when it was reciprocated back to me, I felt uncomfortable and I didn't understand why this was happening. And so diving all the way back, one of the first ones, it was when I was 8.5 years old. We went back and we pulled it out. It was freaking wild, this session. I'm like bawling my eyes out in hypnosis, by the way. And they went back to the back of my mom's Suburban when I was picked up from school. This was elementary school, and we drove past our street and didn't turn to our house. We kept going, and this was when my mom and dad were separating, and my brother and sister were because there was 3 lines of seats in the Suburban. They were in the second. I was in the very, very back, and I started screaming. Right, I was the youngest of all 3 kids, and I wouldn't stop. And then my brother and sister kept saying, "Justin, shut up! Stop asking for help. Stop asking for this. Stop asking for that. Stop." Right. And it just supplanted in my brain to be submissive and stop asking. And then it's something very, very small.
It feels very similar.
Yeah, it probably is. It's just different methods. But
Yeah.
meditation is hypnosis, I guess. In a way. I don't know. But as long as you have somebody that knows what they're doing, they can walk you through that. And there's many, many instances. Other ones were,
It's crazy,
Yeah.
like men talking about this because this is like sissy stuff, but I literally felt like I needed this to have a breakthrough to like.
yeah.
It's
Well, it's
interesting.
and men should talk to men.
Yeah.
So this is why they say that every man needs to have a small tribe, right? Even if it's 1 or 2 buddies, doesn't have to be a lot, but you need 1 or 2 buddies that is your little tribe in a way. Because listen, with all due respect, once again, there are 3 things women need. There are 3 things men need at our core, and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong when I mention these. So men, we need 3 core things. Lots of things, but 3 core things. We need a supportive spouse.
In fact, that's the
We
number one.
we need peace in the home, not a lot of drama, peace in the home, and physical intimacy, right? And granted, there's other things too, but those are the 3 core things that men need. is a supportive spouse, right? It'll support our dreams, support the drive, the vision, what we're trying to do as a man. Peace in the home. I can't come home to freaking up, down, up, down, up, down. I mean, I got enough chaos in the world and the bag of rocks I'm carrying. I got to come home to at least some peace in the home. And then physical intimacy to where we can feel connected, because men don't, we love physically by nature. Like, we can't fall in love. We can't stay in love without physical connection of some sorts. That's just the way men work. Women are the opposite. It's emotional first, right? Emotional intimacy then leads to physical intimacy with a woman. So, and then women need 3 core things. They need to feel provided for, protected, not just physically, but emotionally, and then emotional intimacy. Which is why it keeps going back to this. Like, let's give you a perfect case study example. You come home from work, your wife's at home. She just came home from work or whatever, right? And whatever. And then you come in the door and, she obviously wants to talk about her day and stuff and things that are happening. And then she had a bad day, or she had a bad moment, or bad friends, or things happen, right? And she wants to express or share this stuff. Well, Becky was this, or this was that, or whatever it is. My boss was this, or this person had this, and blah, 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 right? And then they start to feel really bad. But then as a man, our natural reaction as a man is to try and take her out of that state, right? By natural human, that's a man's reaction. It's like, oh my God, I want to protect her. I want to provide. I want to make her safe. I don't want her to feel those feelings. So I want to stop that. So then our reaction is to come in and say, okay, babe, well, like, if you do this, this, and this, and this, you can solve that. And if you do this, this, and then okay, now we solved it. Okay, so stop feeling that way and stop feeling this way. And I don't want you to feel those emotions anymore. When we do that, that is about the worst possible thing you could ever do to a woman, because what it's telling her subconsciously is, I'm not emotionally safe with him. I can't express my feelings. The minute I do and I feel a certain way, he tries to stop me and pull away and go this way and not want me to share him and wants to solve it. And I'm not trying to get him to solve them. I just want him to hear me. And I want him to just listen, hear it out, acknowledge it, maybe amplify it a little bit, but I don't need your voice. I just need your ears, and hear me out, and then let me go through it. And then I'll end up solving my own problem. Don't worry about it, sweetie. If I need your advice, I'll ask. But by her going through this, I call it the cylinder of emotions that was taught to me, the cylinder of flexibility, like all the waves hitting the shore. By her going through this and you just being a shoreline, what that signals to her is, oh, he's safe. He's emotionally stable. He's emotionally disciplined. I can tell him anything. I feel so close to you. You're like, I feel so close to you, babe. I feel like I can tell you anything. Now I want to jump your bones. Let's go in the bedroom. Seriously, this is what happens. And I didn't understand this because by nature, I'm a logical problem solver. Most men are. And the minute those emotions happen, you want to like stop them.
That's what we go to, it like instantly.
It's our default because that's what we're trained. We're trained problem solvers. We're soldiers. That's what we do. But what you're sending in that signal is you're creating yourself as an emotionally unsafe. She can't be emotionally intimate with you. And if she cannot be emotionally intimate with you, she's going to start to pull away. And then you're going to wonder, why are you so distant? Why are we not having physical intimacy anymore? Why do you seem like you're away and not interested? And all these things start to trigger for her. And then she can't even explain. You'll ask her, she'll like, I don't know. I can't understand it. Because she can't even explain her own emotions.
Seeing the differences between.
Yeah. But once I understood that, it was like a freaking light bulb. I was like, oh my God. But it took a male therapist in 2 years in going through this process to do the work. And then the hypnosis kind of helped with that quite a bit too, and reprogramming some things. But it helped me understand so that way I, as a man, could show up better, right? Be a better spouse, be a better partner, be that person that she would need. Right.
You feel like you get that right now? Like you've made those changes and you really see it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because now I don't react the way I used to in the past, because I have an anxious attachment. I found out I have an anxious attachment style, which is odd because most men are avoidant. And I had to figure out, oh, I'm anxious. And I didn't understand why I was anxious, but that leads back to like how you were loved. I was the third baby. I would always get the last of the love. And then you realize, oh, because of that, when you start to not get what you're needing, you become anxious and you try and chase it. And so that was triggering into my adult life. The minute I would feel someone pulling away a little bit, that would trigger anxiousness in me to go chase it. And that's not what it works. That's not how it works.
What is it like? I feel like I don't know any of these concepts, but what do you think this would be like? I felt like, at least through this hypnosis session, I found that, like, I felt like, I wasn't being seen or heard, or, like, because I was second to youngest with 8 kids, but I
Damn.
felt like I was just like, "Hey, man, I'm here too," you
Mhm.
know? And so, like, what is that what do you think from those styles to what makes sense that
Well, let me ask you this: when there's a stressful moment, maybe between you and your wife, um, do you lean in and go try and address it and talk about it, or do you go avoidant and quiet for a while and just go into your own space and try and avoid it for a little bit?
I don't think I try to avoid it. I think I try to figure it out, and if I can't, then I'll just be avoid it. Oh, not avoid it, but like just it's enough for now. Like
Gotcha.
I can't stick through this for too long.
Yeah. You can go look those up. You could literally, you can Google up or, get on YouTube. There's a ton of information on, cause I didn't understand.
It's interesting.
Had no idea about these things, attachment styles at
Yeah.
zero. So once I understood that, I was like, wow, okay, here's some themes, right? And then one common denominator amongst these two failed relationships post divorce was this guy. And so it's having that self awareness, and accountability to say, okay, maybe I need to figure some things out here. I mean, it worked. Because I'm really good at self correction.
How long have you been doing kind of this self awareness stuff? Just trying to figure it out.
3 years,
How old are you?
45.
That's funny. Like when I turned 40, I'm 44, and when I turned 40, I started like looking inward. So I wonder if that's part of
Becoming wiser.
yeah. I
Becoming
just
wiser.
was so like I was just my friend, my wife, and my other friend. They just knew me like the back of their hand, and I'm like, what the frick? And then I started to like kind of looking inside and try to become more self aware. And it's a long journey. It's
Sure.
been, I'm still working on it. But yeah, it's interesting that around this time you started doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So your foundation, giving back to kids and all that in Phoenix and stuff. So as your business grows and you're doing all this stuff successfully on a professional level, you know, eh, do you have outside of the work? I mean, outside of even the foundation you've created. I mean, if I handed you $10 million in cash today and you didn't have to go to work for the next year, what would you do with your time?
I'd probably work on the foundation. Actually,
Okay.
not probably. I know I will. That's actually what I'm working towards now.
Okay.
Is I'm trying to, we're accruing a lot of money, trying to be smart with it, and what I really want to do is just. I know I can do more. There's the need is vast. It's not even just the toys. It's like there's so many things in these communities that they need, and so I actually go on like on a like a tangent all the time on.
Hmm.
Hey, well, these kids need help
It's
to
hard
learn
because
how
you can
to
go off
read.
on 15 tangents,
Yeah,
huh?
these kids need, rides to school. These
Yeah.
kids need to learn how do they, get jobs or how do it and so you start figuring out the
Hmm.
it's a huge need out there.
Yeah, so it leads me to my next question. Because one of my biggest passions outside, because I have three kind of main passions. One is towards, it's called the Tunnels to Towers Foundation. I don't know if you're familiar with this one. It started after 9/11. And it simply what happens is they come in, this organization comes in and they pay off the mortgage of the spouse left behind with kids after a first responder or soldier dies. And it's typically men, right? The men die, the wife is left behind with all the kids. She's not the provider. She's obviously by nature freaking out. How do I provide a safe environment for these kids? So they'll come in, wrap their arms around them, and pay off their mortgage, give them a free and clear house for the rest of their life. It's called Tunnels to Towers. So it's that one. The other one is SEAL Future Foundation, which was started to mainly help team guys, Navy SEALs, transition from the SEAL team life into civilian life because that process. I mean, once I found out how many Navy SEALs commit suicide every day, dude, it's crazy. Which, listen, it kind of makes some sense. Think about it. These men at the most elite level of elite levels of elite levels with all the camaraderie, and they're like put up on a pedestal as a king, right? Doing this work for our country and for their families, all of a sudden go from hero to zero. They do not know how to mentally, emotionally, and physically handle that moment. And so many of them go off the end and they just don't know how to transition. They go and they get very, very no, and they're like, and they also feel like I'm putting up now. I'm moving from this elite life into civilian life, and look at all these people worrying about petty shit. You're worrying about whether your McDonald's is hot or cold. Bro, I was just in Afghanistan with a rifle to my forehead and bombs going off around me, and I'll tell you some problems. Right? So it's that shift and how to maneuver into that type of world and then handle that emotionally, physically, financially. And so a lot of them commit suicide, dude. It's crazy, the numbers. And so we give to that organization to help a lot with this transition. So that's a big one because my family's big in the military. And then the last one is disadvantaged kids. And it's kind of leaning in on what you're talking about. So that's kind of where I wanted to focus here because
Feel free to write them a $10,000 check.
yeah, totally. Because it's, I know that kids have we all have different starting points in life, right? We can't control where we start, where our parents bring us into this world, the environment around us in this world where we start. But we definitely have a responsibility on how we finish, like where we go and which direction. I think my biggest question to you is, what do you think kids need that have grown up in bad environments with bad starting points? Because we see so many examples of bad environments and then they go from that to hero, right? Or, I don't care what it is, right? Whether it's through sports or whether it's through this but what do you think? Because and then there's a lot that don't. And so I'm trying to.
The whole thing is to change your stars is so hard. It's for the people who do, it's incredible.
Yeah.
And so I think part of it, I think when kids are young, and I don't know if this is, the right thing to say, but some people are making their kids feel like they're victims. And there's a lot of this victim mentality. And there's all kinds of different stuff people are saying, and how, well, I didn't have any land handed to me. Or whatever. I didn't. Excuse-based,
Yeah.
victim-based. And so like my kids, like I'm an immigrant. I came from the Philippines. I didn't have anything handed to me either.
Sure.
But I'm in America.
Yep.
And I have opportunity. And so like for me, what I tell my kids is like, if people are telling you that you're going to have it harder because of the color of your skin, like that's for them.
Yep.
I tell them don't listen to that.
Yeah, it's what's between your ears,
You
right?
need to say, like I tell them that they're like lions. I tell them that like, dude, everybody else needs to look out because you have such a good advantage, like,
yeah.
So like, I think one thing is when you start thinking that you're a victim, you start behaving like a victim and then you start moving like a victim. So I tell my kids, I tell them differently as I tell them, hey, look, like you have just as good a chance. But I know I'm not naive to the fact that these kids that we're helping in Maryville and South Phoenix, it's going to be harder for them, right?
Sure. Once again, we all have different.
Who's telling? Like, what are we telling them? And that's how I want to help that community is to say, hey, you're not a victim, dude. Like, look, here's what you come from.
Yeah.
Here's what you can do. Those are the things that I want to start setting up and helping that community. So I think I think both sides of this kind of conversation, everyone just wants to be able to help these kids. But for me, I feel like I would take a different approach,
Yeah. So would you say that kids need a role model if they had
100%? I think we need the dads. Or if you don't have a dad, then I think you
a role model figure?
You need somebody to kind of
give you some guidance.
What are these guiding principles? Like, what are the guiding principles you learned from your dad, or what are the things that you're implementing now that have helped you be successful? Like these kids need to hear those kinds of things. Not that, hey man, it's going to be a little harder for you because the color of your skin.
Right. And you don't need to, dream big. You don't need to go after these things. So you came over from the Philippines, immigrant. Were you born here or no? You migrated here.
I was born in the Philippines. Okay. About 6 was when we came.
Okay. Your mentality that you have about the belief system that, you're in America and you can make anything happen. And that had to transpire somewhere in your youth. Was it your parents? Was there a figure in your life? Who helped with that mentality?
For a long time, I didn't think I was worth it.
Okay.
And so, in fact,
Is there a moment, a trigger point? Is there a period? Was it a coach? Was it a mentor? Was there somebody in that?
So it wasn't until recently. It wasn't until 2020. That's when I was doing some soul searching.
Okay.
And like I said, I haven't done bad. I think I've done, by the normal definition, I've done.
So you're saying up until 40, you didn't believe that you're in America, it doesn't matter about your color of skin, all of that.
I did, but it was like I'm just on a whole nother level of it now. I think growing up when I was younger, early 20s, I didn't believe it. But it wasn't until like maybe I think the first phase was, hey, wait, I can do some of these things that other people are doing to be successful. And so that's like investing and just thinking you can climb the corporate ladder. Like it could be me too.
Okay.
And I think a lot of people.
Was it by seeing others do it? Or was it just
I had mentors for sure that would
okay?
tell me, and I would start seeing them like in fact, it was funny because I would see my mentors and I would say, wait, they're not that different than me.
Gotcha. So they became more human, and
Yes.
then you realize, well,
I was like,
shit,
wait,
if they can do it,
I can do this.
okay,
It doesn't like, and first of all, skin color never, like my race, I never ever even thought of that ever.
right?
It just wasn't a thing. And then not until when I became an entrepreneur, when I started down this process when I became an entrepreneur, that's when I'm like, wait, like, wait, I can be a developer. That developer isn't anybody that's,
Yep.
I can be the CEO. I can create a, you know, 8, 9, 10 figure business. Like now it's like Dan Martell says it all the time, like, why not you? Yeah, why not me? I can do this. And like right now I'm just like, I think I'm about to just have this huge catapult. I've had a huge jump already.
Yep.
And I'm just like, the only thing that's stopping me now is me and Crystal were deciding like what do we want? We're pretty freaking happy
Yep.
on how we've been happy even when we were poor. And so it's like, what is it that's really gonna have fulfillment for me? What does that look like? So we're working on that. The second we figure that out, we're gonna go full bore.
Well, yeah, because if you, and this is what happened, if you can put, God, I'm trying to remember the quote. I literally just saw it on a Instagram reel. I think I saved it. It said, you know, one of your main drivers for success will never be if you're doing it for like you. It'll always be if you're fighting for somebody else, right? And if you're fighting for another reason. And it kind of goes to that mentality of like, if you and Crystal can sit there and say, okay, like, let's map this thing out. Like, we have our foundation. We have this. This is what we're able to give so far based upon our incomes. But once again, this identity audit of saying, okay, we have the business, successful, driving revenue, because that's kind of, you got to have that piece of the puzzle, because then that piece of that puzzle now gives you more choices.
Yep.
And now those choices now, as long as that money becomes more passive, meaning nothing's ever passive, right? But more passive, then now you have more time, because now you're freeing up time. So now you have money with time. And then you're like, well, shit, I don't know. You need to go spend 8 hours at work today. What do I do with my life? Well, I have this foundation. I can maybe go do some media stuff. I can go educate, or I can go, you know, maybe spend some more time on the foundation, expand that. So then that should be kind of the map of saying, okay, well, let's get the business operating at X to where most of that money is more passive. And maybe that comes to a point you bring in an operator for you and you pull away.
Yeah, that's where I'm
right.
That's funny. Like literally where I'm at.
Because that's at that inflection point where, okay, like in order for me to get more time, then I need to clone me.
Yeah.
So then what's the closest I can get to that? And that person needs to come in and it's like slowly relinquishing, you know, trust and control that they can operate, which then frees up your time. which then allows the business to even scale further.
That's literally my last,
Right.
like right now I'm trying to find that guy.
Yeah.
Where before I was doing the accounting, I was
Right.
buying materials, I was doing the sales, I was
Yeah, you're a typical entrepreneur. You're doing everything.
everything.
Yeah.
Now we got a back office person doing the invoicing. We got a
Yep.
sales guy does the sales. We got multiple PMs that ensure the jobs are getting done.
Correct. So you're freeing up your time.
Bookkeeper. So yeah, so I'm literally doing, so like right now I'm like, I make the video.
Yeah. So now you're almost looking for that COO, Chief Operating Officer. They're not the CEO yet, but they're the COO, which means you're still going to run the show and oversee the overseer.
Yeah.
But you'll put them in place, start relinquishing responsibilities to them, see how they do.
Yeah. I got a
Right?
guy right now that I'm
Yeah.
like, we got to get aligned. He's awesome. And we've just got to get aligned. If we can get aligned on a couple of things,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it has to do with me not being clear about what that expectation might be for that particular thing anyway. And again, that was from the Dan Martell.
Yep.
And anyway, I think I'm getting really close to that.
Yeah.
And that's it's hard though, because I work hard on my current job, like my W-2 job.
Yeah, which is crazy. You're doing both, dude.
Yeah, I know. I got around 4, sometimes 3:30. I'm done
Yeah.
with that job. But I have 300 employees in India.
Jesus.
Yeah, and I go there twice a year.
Holy
I have a
shit.
lot going on, but
You say?
yeah. And so this other stuff, it was hard. Doing both was in the beginning was so hard.
I bet.
Now this, it's funny because my business takes up way less time
Yeah.
than my company.
The W-2. Yeah. So there's a transition point that needs to be made there if that's your decision to do that.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to really,
Have you, or, and
I'm
this is
learning
probably for a whole nother podcast, but are you paying decent amount of income taxes on the W-2?
Yeah. So
Okay.
we've got some good tax strategies going.
Okay.
I think I could be doing better. My guy, I don't know that he's again, I keep
Are you using
learning.
bonus depreciation and stuff yet?
Yes, we have. So I have 5 properties. Only a couple that anyway, yeah, that's what I was talking earlier about, like, I'm not a victim, like, I can if this guy can invest, I can invest. It doesn't
Sure.
matter what my
Yeah, because you know, whether you're flipping or you got the business going, that's, you know, kind of, you can throw a lot of expenses into your business. That's an avenue. And then you have the investment side. But you know, one of the last big write-off mechanisms left in the IRS tax code is the bonus depreciation, which is attached mainly to commercial real estate. Okay.
Oh, so maybe I don't understand it. I know
Yeah.
that I
You,
know
you,
that I have a depreciation schedule on my rentals.
right. So
So this is
so the residential one is 27.5 years. That's how you naturally depreciate residential real estate.
Okay.
Now, sure, can you bonus depreciate resident? Yeah, you can. It just doesn't a lot of times make financial sense. Commercial real estate is where that bonus depreciation goes astronomical.
And you're saying more than 4 units is
Correct. You need to
considered.
get into a 5-unit property or greater on multifamily, or you buy another commercial property, or you can invest in syndications, right, with other investors, and you're a limited partner in that.
A couple options on
Yeah.
these syndications, and maybe I know you're the pro and all this stuff, but
Yeah.
like, I have it just because I've been feeding it all the money that we're making. I'm feeding it back into my company, the
Sure.
company, and so
Yeah.
I've had money to go and invest, but I was like, throw it into the company instead. That's kind of what I've been
Well, sure.
doing recently.
Yeah, but once again, it comes down to, yeah, if you're putting it back in the company and reinvesting, so then it's becomes an expense and you're not getting hammered away on taxes, then that's fine.
I'm sure there's
But yeah, but there's going to come a point where whatever you're, it's real simple. Whatever it is you're paying Uncle Sam, okay, whatever it is you're paying Uncle Sam in the state, right? But let's take federal. You can pretty much take that dollar for dollar, and rather than give it to Uncle Sam every year, you put it into a commercial asset that does bonus depreciation in the same calendar year, and you'll get a dollar for dollar wipeout, right? Because you got to think about it. It's one of two decisions.
Yeah,
Uncle Sam black hole. That's option A,
I need to learn more.
right? Uncle Sam black hole, or real estate investment, multifamily, or whatever else, commercial asset, and it grows your wealth. I mean, it's actually a rhetorical question because everybody knows the answer to it. It's just you don't know. You need to know how to
It's like
lever
if
it.
you don't know how it works, and
Right.
that's where the other thing about being an entrepreneur is like, I don't have enough time to learn. There's so much I want to learn, and now it's like I've always been a learner, but like now it's like even just in construction, there's so much I
Yep.
want to learn. There's so much I want to learn about.
So your typical day, I mean, because you're W-2'd and you have your other business that's growing, man. What time do you?
Typical day I start at 6 a.m.
Okay,
So
and then
6 to
what?
7,
Yep,
I meet with my virtual assistant in India,
yep.
and he's kind of like my chief of staff.
Okay,
And I'll tell him kind of what's top of mind for me. I have it's called a mural board.
yep.
It's like we put a Kanban on there, and it kind
Is
of
this for your renovation business?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'll talk to him.
Yep.
And from 7 to 4, I work my
W2.
full-time job. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm in it, dude. I'm
Yep.
just freaking banging stuff out there, doing good work. I thought I was gonna be able to like relax, but I can't not do good work. I wasn't.
Sure, it's not in your blood.
It's just I can't.
Yeah.
I can't just cruise. So that's really important to me. And then probably from 4 to about 6.
Okay.
Now I'm working. After that, I'm done. So
Okay.
really,
Yeah, you're pretty spent. Yeah,
I'm pretty and
because then you got family time and stuff after that.
and
Yeah.
I have twice a week. I have a staff meeting with the All Star Renovations
Yep.
group, and other than that, I'm with the family. My son's trying to become a BMX pro, and he just competed in this like cool Monster Energy thing, and I think
That's
he's gonna be
cool.
a pro probably.
Yeah.
And then my other son wrestles, so
Okay.
those guys take up a lot of time, and we travel a lot to different stuff for that.
Yeah, on the
and that's
weekends and
always
stuff.
fun.
Yeah.
And then my little guys, they just love dad, and we just hang out with them and stuff
Mhm.
daily. So I'm a
Yeah, so the only way to kind of bridge that time in there is probably, you know, a 30-minute section, maybe an hour section before bed, where you're throwing on, even if it's audio chat GPT, man. I mean, the amount of conversations that I have with AI now, which I'm sure you do too, it's pretty wild, and it's gonna get, as we all know, it's getting better. We're at the beginning stages of it. But you can go in there and just start asking it about, hey, give it a scenario. Literally say, hey, I'm going to be, I think my taxes this year are going to be, 50 grand or 100 grand, whatever they are. Right. I'm trying to avoid the tax and maybe invest in commercial real estate. walk me through a scenario where I have 100,000 I'm going to pay to Uncle Sam, but I can then take this and put it into a commercial asset. Give me an example of what is the best strategy, and just let it rip it off for you and watch what it does. It's going to say, well, you can do it, and you could do it yourself, right, and control it, or you can go invest passively into syndication, and they'll give you this bonus depreciation too, dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
Either way, you'll wipe it out. It just needs to be in this calendar year. But that's kind of just start educating yourself, little 30-minute pops. Because I mean, and that's why I asked about your time, right? It's like a Dan Martell thing where it's like, how does your time structure, blah, 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 to be efficient?
Think about that though. I spend a lot lot of time on my W-2.
I know.
So then if I again,
Are you at a point, or I guess what's keeping you there? Is it the insurance?
No, it's not. I mean, insurance.
Is it safety of a paycheck?
It's more just I have so many people I take care of right now. So I'm growing the business, and I think I'm growing it fast. Like we're going, I think, mock chicken right now, and like
mock chicken.
It's crazy. I'm trying to slow it down, but there's one thing that I really want to do.
Is there anybody in that company right now that you work with that can begin to protege?
I could just leave. It's not a big
deal. I know you can just leave, but like you said, you have an internal engine with you that you have to do good work.
Yeah. So that's
hence the reason you won't just leave, because you don't have that mentality in your soul to do that to your bosses. So this is and here's a great challenge for your boss, because it depends on their reaction to this. If you were to go to your boss at the end of this year and have a sit down conversation and let them know about your dreams, and if they put down those dreams and tried to stop you from your growth, that would tell you everything you need. If the response to them was the alternate and said, hey, Joe, we're supportive of this. Let's plan this exit for you. Let's plan it 6 months out or 12 months out or whatever the time.
I think that'd be honestly, I think
because then it's a planning scenario, and you feel good. They feel good.
Yeah.
They're in support of your dreams, because any great leader, any great boss or whatever, they want their employees to grow. And if they don't, not good.
I think it's more me not leaving than them not. Like I'm afraid of, and I don't know why. I don't need to be, because we've been doing great. But if I leave, a lot of people are relying on me right now with the company. If I don't make a profit, it's not going to be a big deal to me. I don't feel any pressure.
Gotcha.
That's not been the case, but what I wanted to do is be more predictive. If I can make it more predictive, then I'll leave. So
gotcha.
That being said, we have referrals that we get all the time. I'm like, man, what if the referrals stop coming in? So what I'm learning about now is ads and ROAS. And like, if I know that I spend X amount of money, I'm going to get Y amount back. It's predictive, and I understand my conversion. Then I'll be willing to leave this behind, because then I've already designed something.
Are you at
I haven't done any marketing. My one buddy, he spends $100,000. He's in the same space as me. He spends $100,000 a month in marketing.
Jesus,
a month. They're crushing. And so I've spent zero. This month was the first time I think I'm spending $25 a day just to see what this looks like. And
$25 a day.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, see, I can literally do so much more.
Sure.
But it's more just to design what this looks like. And I have a couple ways I'm doing it. The first way I'm doing it now is through Instagram, and I've optimized as much as I could.
Who's managing the ads?
So I've learned how to do the ads. And what happens is these people follow you, and then in the DM you say, hey, thanks for the follow. Looks like
so you're doing a DM strategy right now.
Right now. So I'm trying that.
I learned a lot about this stuff too, so I can share my knowledge.
And dude, if I land these 2 deals, my ROAS is like 50x or something.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wait, this could really be something. So I'm in the middle of that. I've got this new bot that I've added to my website, and it's already booked an appointment for me.
Sure.
So there's like these things that if I can make it, like if I can start seeing this, it's more predictable. And I can still have this whole slew of, you should see my lead list. I could show it to you.
So let me ask you this question. Whatever your personal carry is each month, depending on, because I always say if you can have 6 months of reserves set aside that would carry you, where you could leave the W-2, but still have 6 months of runway to get predictable.
Yeah.
on the renovation
Yeah,
company.
I have more than
Okay.
that now. Yeah, because this is
Yeah. So you asked about have I been an entrepreneur my whole life, and the answer is no. So I came out of college, and I didn't want to go be like, Dad, where's my job? So I came up in a family industry where my dad was a real estate developer guy. My grandmother was in apartments. Watched both of them do well. My grandmother she did well for herself, but then my dad was that real transitional character in our family, like the one that took it from zero to hero and like made it big. But was brilliant at making money. Was also brilliant at losing money because his income would mimic real estate cycles.
sure.
And so I would see this happen, right? Make millions, lose millions, make millions, lose millions, right? But he made it through multiple cycles until the financial crisis. And I came out of college, and I didn't want to be like, hey, Dad, where's my job? I wanted to I need to go make it on my own first, and then maybe go to my dad's companies or something. So I was in title insurance. I was a title insurance rep when I came out of college. Did that for about 3 years. Did well, but then I wanted to go back to grad school. So I went to grad school, got my graduate degree, came out, and then I went to work with my dad's companies in like 2006, 7, right before the financial crisis.
I was just gonna say, perfect time.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing. Walked right into that one. So anyhow, watched the implosion happen right in front of my face, right? And my dad lose everything, like everything. So that was my first experience with entrepreneurism. But what that taught me was, hey, I don't really like the build and sell game. I'll do it, but I like the predictability. I'm more conservative. I want the predictability, not sexy, but it still goes, which is what triggered me into the multifamily. You got cash flow, you have apartments, they grow. People always need a roof over their head, consistency.
Yeah.
So now I'm in, but the market's collapsed. There's really no industry for that right now. And so I went and I actually worked for an asset manager at that time that was doing all the REOs and foreclosures around the country for all the big banks as an asset manager. So I was the guy that was hiring all the realtors, sending out all the properties. I was doing everything behind the scenes, 300-400 properties at a time. Chase, EMC, Fannie Mae, countrywide, like the whole kit and caboodle. And I did that for about 2 years, 2008 through 2010-ish.
You can get on the other side of that.
Well, here's where it went. So I started seeing the market shift from foreclosures, right, where the bank owns it, to short sales, where the homeowner still owns it. They're just selling it for less, right? So I said, I see this. We're going to start losing momentum here, right? I could see it shifting. I had my broker's license, real estate broker's license. I said, you know what? There is nobody better than somebody coming from the bank, which I basically was. I knew all these loans. I knew how the banks thought about it. I knew everything. Yeah. I'm like, I can go straight out and sit in a homeowner's living room and look at their loans and be like, bro, this is how we're going to get it done. And that's what I did. And we did an enormous amount of short sales during that time from 2010 through 2012, 13, right? So that was my first step into the entrepreneur, like full-blown entrepreneur world. No W-2 at all. But I was scared to death when I did it because I was leaving a W-2 job as an asset manager. I had about 4 months of reserves, and I was stepping into a career as a real estate broker that's 100% commissioned, where you don't know where the next paycheck's coming from. And I'll never forget it. I walked into my broker's office, who was my mentor at that time, and I sat down. I said, here's the deal, dude. I'm about to leave this W-2, scared to death, but I got to make this happen, man. I got to make it happen. He's like, you got to make it happen? And I said, I have to make it happen. He says, okay, take out your checkbook. And I looked at him. He's like, take out your fucking checkbook. And I said, okay. He says, I want you to write me a $10,000 check. I want you to post date it for December 31st of this year. If you don't hit this goal we're going to set, I'm going to cash this fucking check. Wow. And I'm like pissing in my pants at this point because I'm like, you're not cashing it now, but you'll cash it then if I don't hit the goal, right? This is where it teaches you that people make decisions in life based on pain or pleasure. If you ask them, they'll tell you it's pleasure. Oh, I'm doing it so I can get to here. I'm doing it to make this happen, right? Bullshit. They make decisions on pain. They make decisions on pain. The fear of it happening or to move away because something is happening currently. So that check was my pain. That I literally woke up every day, bro, scared shitless. And if I didn't want to make a phone call, I made that goddamn phone call. If I didn't want to go door knock and do the things you need to do to generate business, I made sure, because I'm in fear of that check being cashed on the 31st and I have to hit that goal. And I'm running. Some people, they collapse under that pressure. For me, I'm like, let's go, bitch. Some people get paralyzed and collapse and whittle. And for me, I kind of feel more alive in that. And so it like made me like, you say I can't do it, let's go. You don't think I can do it, let's go. And so that was my entrance to the entrepreneur world. And I never looked back because that's when we started buying and investing in properties.
Years ago was that?
That was 2010. And so in that same exact year,
in years of just being an entrepreneur,
in that same exact year, this was the financial crisis. And do you know who Tom Ferry is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big real estate.
Yeah. So I go to a conference in 2008, 2 years earlier, and I'm sitting in the audience, and this is right in the middle of the financial crisis. Everybody's losing their ass. And he comes out on stage and he says, hey, rah, 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 rah. He says, who here in this audience wants to own rental income property? And all the hands go up. All the realtors' hands go up. They're like, yeah, man, let's go. He's like, sweet. Here, who in this audience right now can financially buy a rental income property? And like 98% of the hands go down. Everybody's getting clobbered, right? It's the financial crisis. He says, here's your secret. You're all missing. He says, none of you have to have a single dime to own rental income property. I said, you all have your real estate license, right? He says, you just need to have a friend that has the money to buy rental income property. He says, you are the secret sauce.
You're finding the deal.
You can go find it, bro. You can underwrite it. You can analyze it. You can put it all together, the capital, the structure. You can run it. You can manage it. You can do all these things, extremely valuable to someone who wants to do it too, but they just can't do what you can do. They bring the check equities, we call it. You bring the sweat equity. You pair up, bada bing, bada boom. And so fast forward, 2 years later, I meet my business partner. And I said, dude, I don't have much money right now, but I said, I can find us all the deals we need to go buy. And it started with a $100,000 condo in Murrieta, California in 2010. And then from there, we scaled it to 20 units. But then we realized this whole game of OPM, other people's money, and syndicating deals. And we took that exact same equity out of 20 units and scaled it to 1,200. And we did that in 3 years. It took us 8 years, almost 8.5 years to get to 20 units. It took us 3 years to get to 1,200. Because of syndication and how you scale with money and other people's money once you learn that game. And that is my entrepreneur. That's it. And so, the thing I can tell you is there's never a perfect time. If you have more than 6 months of reserves, that is all you need. Because what'll happen when you decide to go is because of who you are as a human, you will make the how show up. You'll just make it happen. So you can plan it out a little bit, and that's good because you got a family and you got a lot of responsibilities, a lot of stuff. I get it.
Well, you're right.
But here's the thing, dude.
To burn the boats.
Well, but here's the thing. You can always go back and get a job. Like you could go find another job. Like if push came to shove and it didn't work out, jumping all the way, you could absolutely. You're talented enough. You can go find another job. So
and I know a lot of people that would give me jobs.
Right, but the question then becomes is okay if I had. That 8 hours a day that I wasn't in the W-2 and I could actually find the predictability in the other business and lend more time in correct. Then you'd be at a point.
I know. Trust me, dude.
Right. And I know you have these conversations.
At WealthCon, I last year I had the same because I was ready to do it then. Right.
And so it's this natural instinctual fear that we all have that somehow we don't believe in ourselves. Because that's the only thing holding you back. It's you believing in you. But here's the beauty. The same way that when I had to write that $10,000 check, I was banking on me. I said, you know what? What's the worst thing that happens? I knew he probably, if I was in a really shit moment, he probably wouldn't cash the check. Yeah. Right? Because I'm with him. I think what he wanted to see was like, do you have the nuts? Are you ready to put it on the table and let's go? And then you know what happened with me internally? Is I'm literally waking up every day and you can call it whatever you want in fear, like pain, fear, whatever you want to call it. But that drove me. Some people, it doesn't drive them. Some people, it paralyzes them. For me, it drove me and I just had to bet on that. And I did. And it worked and that was at a 50-50 split in the office. My commissions were at a 50-50 split. And in order for me to get to an 85-15, which was like the highest in the office, like 85-15, 90-10.
What was it?
I had to do over 6 figures, right, in revenue. And I had, at this point, 9 months to do it. Right, this beginning of the year, I had 9 months to pull that off. And I'd never done a sale in my entire life. Yeah. And so I was racing and running all at the same time. But you know what? December 31st of that year, I went over 6 figures. I hit the split. I was up because progressively you could go up. Now I was at an 85-15. I was leading the office. And what I didn't realize, which I do realize, is because of that knowledge in asset management and coming out, the other agents in the office freaked out because I went and got probably 30 short sale listings within 2 months, and they were all in a pipeline, right? Because they take a long time to close.
Yeah.
But I had tons of them because I could literally, where all these other agents didn't know how to negotiate these short sales, I could walk right into the homeowners, sit down and relate with them. And they were like, this is crazy. Because I didn't come at it from a perspective of like, oh, let's figure out how to get you out of this house quickly. It was the first perspective, which was their number one, was how do I stay in the home? So that was numero uno. So I'm going to say, okay, how much time do you want here? Because I said, first of all, I'd figure out whether you could save it or not. And then if I found out they couldn't save it, then I'd say, how long do you want to stay here? They're like, oh, as long as possible. I'm like, great. So if I got you a year or two, would you be cool with that? A lot of them we did.
Heck yeah.
A lot of them we did. And then they could plan out, right? Save up money, financially, protect themselves and get their family out. And then eventually we'd release them of the debt through the negotiation. And that may take a year or two sometimes because it was such a shit show. It was such a shit show. Yeah, it was wild. But that's how we went through it. And then a lot of people, they're like, listen, I just want out now. Just relieve me of the debt. Just get me out of all this burden and let's get out. And so we'd negotiate those and get them through. And it was wild, dude. It was wild. It was wild.
I don't think it's.
No, it's totally structured differently now. I mean, once again, as you know, it's like Congress and all the feds, they put in all this stuff after the fact to try and save the next problem. But the next problem will never be like the current problem. It'll all be completely something different that'll lead to chaos. So the next one's a currency crisis issue, hands down.
What do you mean?
The dollar, gone. The dollars, we know it's going to be gone. Which is, why do you think Trump and all these guys are moving everything into cryptos? Why do you think everything's moving to a digital dollar? It's all in preparation. The ship's too far. He knows this. The ship's too far out to sea. It's filling up with water. They can't pay off the debt. There's too big of a deficit. They know the ship's not turning around. Why do you think that whole fight happened between Elon and Trump about the whole big, beautiful bill and all this other crap, right? And it's not that, Trump's ignorant of it. He just realizes, bro, that the game's changing. Yeah. It's moving away from the dollar fiat as we know it. It's moving to another, it's going to still be the dollar, but it's going to be another form of the dollar because we have to have a currency change and you're going to have some crisis with a part of that. There's no way around it. Yeah.
That's scary. For the average American, it's going to be tough.
I don't know how it's going to go down, but people ask, how do you hedge? I said, tangible assets. It's the only way you can hedge. You have to have tangible assets that can trade in any currency. Crypto is one of them because you can trade that in anything. You can move it around into different cryptos.
Yeah, I didn't really spend a lot of money on it. I didn't really invest a lot I have a lot in the stock market.
But I would tell you this, if you have any more than 6 months of reserves sitting inside a U.S. bank account as cash, you should move that into other asset classes. Yeah. So you can always keep 6 months.
I think so. That's what I'm actually, my personal cash is around that, but my company's sitting on a lot of cash.
Yeah.
So on that's the one that I need to start. So my Edward Jones guy said I can put it somewhere where
sure.
It grew.
I mean, listen,
and I can access it easily.
Correct. So you want it liquid, so you can diversify that, and your company can go set up if you wanted to touch into a little bit of crypto business wise, you could have your business crypto account from your company, and you can dribble into that a little bit. And honestly, I would just put it under. I wouldn't even risk it. I would just put it under a USD coin, which is the digital coin that basically tracks the US dollar for dollar. So it's digital, but it's not in fiat cash. So you can move that into Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the other cryptos, right? So there's that. You could stick a bunch of money in that account, no problem, and it's liquid as liquid, and it's safe because it actually is. I mean, it doesn't move. You don't get to lose it. It's not at risk. It's not investing. It's literally sitting there as a stable coin, as they call it. So there's that. You could also buy U.S. Treasuries, buy some bonds. Yeah. I mean, that's predictable. For now, it's safe. You're good there. And then, figure out some other liquid type stuff that is earning an interest on it, but still is accessible quickly, right? And that way you have things moving and you're making money on the money, and it's not sitting physically in a fiat cash bank account. Because when it happens, it'll happen seemingly overnight, but everybody will be like, oh my gosh, this just happened overnight. No, it's actually building right now.
That's crazy.
And it started in 2020 during COVID. If you watched what happened very silently, the Chinese came out and they created the digital yuan, and then the U.S. came out. Just go back in time. Jerome Powell, they created the digital dollar in 2020 during COVID. They came out and created the digital dollar, and then Chinese created the digital yuan. They're all fighting around it, and they're trying to create prominence as to who's going to be the next major currency in the world, because the world's reserve currency is going to change. And is it still going to be the U.S. just in a different format? We'll see. Or is there another world power stepping up? Because there has to be a change to the world fiat. It will not remain the US dollar as we know it.
Yeah.
It is changing. And yeah, there's no real fancy way around that other than you have to have tangible assets that can be traded in multiple currencies. That's the only advice, because that's all you mean. Real estate can trade, gold, bullion, stuff that can trade in multiple currencies, crypto, anything that is maneuverable through other currency. That's what you need, and that'll protect you as best as possible. As best as possible. All right, man. We got deep on all kinds of subjects.
Dude, yeah.
Life, men, work,
I like
philanthropy,
I feel like I got
self-development.
I feel like I got like free coaching just now. So
Dude, there's so many things I'm learning and still learning, but I'm like a learner like you. But I don't
have enough time. There's so much I want to learn about.
I'll pop in late night, like usually right before bed. 30 minutes, and I'll have it either on a chat GPT or a podcast or something where I can get 30 minutes of knowledge in the brain before bed. Because you're right, you're so busy during the day, and you have family, and you got time, and you're just trying to manage time, dude. How do you manage the time?
It's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard to do that.
Being a man, being a dad, it's
a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure.
And like, dude, am I spending enough time with my wife? Am I spending enough time with the kids? It's
hard because we and looks like our women want us. Tell me all your feelings. Okay, I know you want me to, but if I actually did, you'd lose your fucking mind. Okay, you don't understand. Like, it's a bag of rocks that men put on every day in a backpack, and we carry it around and we deal with it. And that's just the way it has to be. And I will share some, but I can't tell you all. And if I tell you all, then it's going to put you in a fight or flight mode. By nature, you'll fall out of your feminine and you'll actually start like panicking because of all the stuff we have to deal with. They'll lose their mind because they're not designed to handle it by nature. They're supposed to sit in a feminine kind of, I don't say la la land, but a little bit in this kind of, we're just going to make everything great, So I don't know how to say that. And they're incredible because they need to sit in that feminine because that's how the household gets protected, right? In their nurturing ways and motherly ways. And
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
I think I got pretty lucky with